Good evening and welcome everybody to We Could Be Pets. Tonight we will be looking into the possibility that society is not broken, just trained. But really, welcome everybody to the channel. Thank you for being here. Hope you enjoy the show. We'll be looking at some videos and reacting to what is going on in our crazy society right now. But let's get going. We will going to start with some gnomes.
Apparently, there are multiple stories and sightings coming out of Utah, the state where you can have a few wives, but you can't have a cup of coffee, that there have been gnome sightings. I'm sorry, what in the pointy red hat and flying fox are we talking about? Yes, there have been people coming forward out of Utah claiming to have seen gnomes in their backyard. More specifically, a woman came forward and said her and her husband and her son, who's almost 13, have been seeing gnome sightings in their backyard. Now, after doing a little bit of research, these things are actually called duendes. They're like mischievous little elves that will steal children, cut off children's toes, abduct children. Now, obviously, I believe everything in folklore of such stems from some sort of truth, but I'm not here to tell you to believe in gnomes. Take what you will, leave what you won't. But me seeing these stories then tripped and fell down the TikTok gnome rabbit hole. And let me just tell you, it is a fun rabbit hole to go down because these sightings have been happening for centuries now. So tell me what you think. Have you heard of gnome sightings in Utah? Have you went down the gnome rabbit hole? So let's have this conversation today because apparently gnomes are now here.
Well, what do we think about that? Gnomes in Utah. Hey, shout out to my Utah peeps. You guys seen any gnomes in your backyards? Seen them in the parks? Seen them in the mountains? Please let me know. Let me know. Let me know what you have seen. You know, I did have a friend who was a gnome in Utah. Actually, now that I think of it. Ha! Sweet. On to the next.
Charlemagne, he was saying something about the Epstein files because Jay-Z is in the Epstein files. Let's go down that rabbit hole real quick.
Do that. Yeah, because Charlemagne, he works for the machine, so he's taking his cues.
He's hustling.
Just hustling.
So he says, actually, we can't take this as credible evidence because Jay-Z, he just got on in 96. He's saying that the FBI tip that they got from this victim made this statement saying that I got assaulted by Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z.
Right.
In 96. And then Pusha T was in there saying the same thing, saying, hey, I was with Harvey Weinstein and Pusha T in 2007. So Harvey Weinstein seems like he was getting around. He seems to be the common thread. Now, where is he?
Harvey Weinstein?
Yes.
Oh, he's in jail.
Exactly. And if he's the common link between all these people, so you have all these accounts saying this. So the runway stops when it comes to the Epstein files for Jay-Z.
Oh, yeah, when it's Jay-Z, oh, no. He's in pictures with all these motherfuckers.
You know,
it can't be true.
He knew all of them. So which is it? Because it's real when it pertains to people like Trump, but the runway goes out when it comes to Jay-Z.
See what it is? If Trump and Weinstein actually drop fire-ass records, nobody's looking.
That's a fact.
Yeah, because you have to separate the art from the person, which a lot of people can't do.
He had a whole album and tour with R. Kelly.
Yo, who did R. Kelly mess with underage?
Aaliyah.
Who did Jay-Z mess with before Dame Dash?
Aaliyah.
So you're talking about underage women, and before that, who did Jay-Z sleep with when she was underage?
Foxy Brown.
I'll say allegedly.
Allegedly.
But it's been known for a long time throughout the whole 90s. There's a trail. It's pattern recognition.
Yeah, it's a pattern.
Now the runway runs out when it comes to the Epstein files. So which is it? See, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah,
This is what I mean. You can't be like, so-and-so, Bill Clinton and all these other people are in the files. But then when it comes to the black,
Yeah, y'all got to cut out that
Come on, man.
that race
yeah,
shit.
we heard that story when it comes to Diddy.
Yeah.
You see where he's at right
That
now.
race trick is over, I'm telling y'all. Nobody's falling for that anymore.
I was actually just literally arguing with somebody on X because they were like, Jay-Z wasn't on in 96.
Yes, he was.
Here's the thing. People don't understand the rollouts, especially in the 90s when it comes to releasing a record. They need 2 years at least for marketing and promotion, preparation, funding. So he was already on before that, which means they already saw value in him as a stock.
Love said on The Breakfast Club that she saw Jay-Z in 88 in London in a fucking crazy ass flat. And he was there for like 5 months.
5 months, had the state-of-the-art studio. Now, what did Jay-Z say? I've been spending money since
88. There's that 88 again.
There's that 88.
I mean, he was supposedly a big dope dealer. So were you the dope dealer for the elites and that's how you got in? Oh, Pusha T too. Was he that too? He also performed at the Vatican. Pusha T, by the way.
There you go.
Wait,
Pusha T performed at the Vatican in 2025.
how do you perform at the Vatican?
Cut scene, he's on the Epstein files.
Okay, people, what do we think? I think it's just too much for people to take. I mean, there's too many people in there. Oh my, look at my hair. So embarrassing. Yes, there was people just can't handle it. It's too many people they love. They love their art, they love their music, they love their movies. They love their opinions on politics. And they can't handle some of these outrageous things these people do or might have done, what they do and what they have done. Tell me what you guys think. And shoot, man, crazy world.
This is what's at the bottom of the Epstein rabbit hole. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just some billionaire criminal. He sat on the board of an organization called the Lifeboat Foundation. Look it up. It exists. Public website, no hiding. The Lifeboat Foundation openly talks about underground cities, elite survival infrastructure, and relocating people off-world if civilization collapses. Off-world. But here's where it gets weird. Epstein was also connected to an organization called Teachers in Space, another real group, openly discussing payloads beyond Earth. This wasn't sci-fi, this was policy talk. And the man who personally placed Epstein into elite academic circles with zero qualification, Donald Barr. The same Donald Barr who wrote a novel about a powerful aristocratic class trafficking children into space. Does that sound familiar? But there's a coincidence that makes people uncomfortable. The Attorney General overseeing Epstein's case is William Barr, Donald Barr's son. So you have elite science circles, underground infrastructure, untraceable money transfers years before crypto existed, and organizations obsessed with survival after civilization. Some people say this wasn't about money. It's about control, technology, and continuity of power. The big question is, who was Epstein working for, and what were they preparing? Stay weird.
In that place, people can no longer be called human. Do you understand? No one could ever fully grasp what I've seen or the pain I've endured. Compared to them, Satan feels almost gentle. If Diddy gave me nightmares, then everything that happened on that island is a curse carved deep into my soul, one that keeps wearing down my sanity. Every night when darkness falls, images of those children replay over and over in my mind. I feel sympathy for them, but I'm also terrified of them. Terrified that I might end up just like them, passed around, reduced to something to be served on a plate. I've prayed countless times for a miracle. I've tried every possible way to expose what was happening, but in the end, all I received was even more humiliation. Everyone said I was crazy, but I wasn't. They were the ones who were crazy. Now, I can finally speak about these things, but I don't know how much I'm really allowed to say. Just like that Mexican model screaming in the streets, I don't want to disappear silently one night. I'm not young anymore. My strength is gone. My courage has faded. All I want now is to stay with my family and watch my baby grow up healthy and strong.
Poor Beeps. Poor any child actor, musician, or otherwise involved children. Nothing much I can say on it.
The Kirk universe rabbit hole somehow just reached a whole new level. This one's gonna fuck you up. So this is Erica Kirk, another Erica Kirk with the same name of the late Charlie Kirk's wife. Same name, same unconventional spelling, both Americans with very blue eyes and blonde hair. Some even arguing they kinda look alike, but oh, that's barely even the tip. Both were wives of political figures, men who actively engaged in some form of politics. Both their husbands were very outspoken Republicans, Claude Kirk and Charlie Kirk, both CKs. Both of them also passed away in September. Today's Erica Kirk is nicknamed Miss Arizona. The other one went by Madam X, which she was called because people said she just kind of came out of nowhere and was all over the spotlight all of a sudden. Sound familiar? The OG Erica Kirk passed away in April 2023 in Palm Beach County, Florida, a region which just recently became the world's largest investor in a certain country that shall not be named and is completely irrelevant to anything. She passed away at the age of 88, and the current Erica Kirk was born in 1988. They're so similar, even Google's search AI is calling them the same person, but that's probably just a hallucination, no big deal. I think the better question is, are the rest of us hallucinating right now?
Exactly. Nothing to see here, folks. Everything's normal. Yeah, let's move along. Nothing odd about that. Nothing crazy.
Hey, Hollywood. You know what's coming soon? The new money. So get ready, Hollywood, because the new money is coming soon. Not the old money. That now is fading. So get ready for the new money coming to the old Hollywood.
Oh, the Baldwins. That's all I can say.
Slicing into a baby. Whoa, it's like slicing into a baby. It's like slicing into a baby. Four choice of words.
A $70,000 pizza. Now, if you guys have been reading the Epstein files, you know how many times they mention pizza and pizza parties, and that it's a code word for something else. And then when he talks about slicing into a baby, has any of you guys at all in your whole entire life compared slicing into a steak as slicing into a baby? What are they telling us? The truth in plain sight. A $70,000 pizza, eh? If you guys don't know the code word for pizza and pizza party, let us know in the comments down below if you do know, so you can tell the people that don't know just in the comments, because I can't say it, but I know what it is, and they're telling you the truth in plain sight. This is disgusting. That's why this guy's name is Mr. Beast, the Beast, the devil, right here. The truth is coming to light, and these people are being taken down. Peace and love.
I'm sorry, what? He said what we think he said? I'm sorry, what?
We believe that eating people is unethical and unnecessary. That's why we're proud to serve you and your family the world's finest plant-based, cruelty-free human meat. Because we believe you should eat what you love. Our human-inspired menu tastes so much like real human. After just one bite, you'll be waiting for the police to arrive.
This campaign dropped during Halloween season, the one time a year brands expect shock to slide by just as a joke. But here's what I find interesting. The whole thing was built around a fake restaurant called the Vegan Steakhouse. They said it was humour. They said it was parody. But then they lean into language like it just tastes like the real thing. And that's where it gets weird. Because how would you know what the real thing tastes like? And people are forgetting that this is the brand that once run a public stunt about selling your soul for created drinks. And even the name itself, Liquid Death, doesn't exactly try and soften the message. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below.
Alright, explain to me the weird world we live in with our food and where it comes from. So right here, I'm in Florida. It's my feed station. It's been here for 5 years. Taking a lot of deer off of it. A lot of critters. There's my stand down there. Call that the guard tower. Well, the church brought the fire station a bunch of fruits and vegetables and bread and stuff. And I noticed we had like literally cases of it. Now we're going to throw it away. I put this out 3 days ago. Got my camera right there. 3 days ago. There's tracks all back here I just filled the corn up again. They came to eat here, whatever. In what world do wild animals not eat grapes and apples? Especially deer. Hogs, wild hogs. We have a ton of wild hogs here. Got pictures of them. They haven't touched it. That is strange to me. Not even a bird has eaten any of this. Nothing. That's what you're putting in your body, folks. I don't know what it is. It's weird.
It's definitely not good. It's definitely not good. That's for sure.
You are literally feeding your kids plastic glue and industrial lubricants. I'm talking about Oreos, that cream in the middle. It's not cream at all. It's rapeseed oil whipped with emulsifiers that act like edible glue holding the sludge together. And the cookie parts strip cocoa and chemical stabilizers enough to start clogging your arteries if you eat them too much. I scanned them with the Reveal It app, and it came back as 82% processed. This is unbelievable.
Unbelievable, folks. Completely unbelievable. More fake food covered in wax. Animals won't eat it. Emulsifier, excuse me. All kinds of things shouldn't be put in our bodies. Alrighty.
What's that? Oh, people are reporting that they're going to Tijuana and using a machine that filters their blood. Tell me more! Yeah, what people are saying is they're going to Tijuana and they're getting hooked up to this machine, which basically goes into your jugular, and then it filters the blood through this machine. And what this machine is doing is essentially taking out toxins, mold, metals, and essentially anything that could be harmful to the body. This could become the next big thing, but basically it does take 3 days to go through this process of having your blood filtered and then put back into your body. However, when people are coming back home and giving their results, they're saying it's absolutely night and day different. Meaning they're literally saying their eyesight's better, hearing's better, and just generally overall feel younger, healthier, and happier. Oh, fun!
And folks, after eating the emulsifier and the wax, we will all be going to Tijuana to get our blood filtered. Who's on the next bus with me? I mean...
If I can prove to you beyond the shadow of a doubt that the entire medieval ages are all a lie and never existed, would you be okay? This video may be hard for a lot of people to stomach, but I'm telling you guys, everything...
Sorry guys. No! I like, Sword in the Stone, and dragons, and Lord of the Rings, and whatever else is medieval. Castles. Ah, nuts. I mean, history's rewritten and added and taken away. I wouldn't be surprised, but who knows?
That we know is a lie. But y'all know I don't say things without proof. Don't be mad at me, I'm simply providing you with the information. So let's start here, and I'll show you that they have doubled names from the 1st century all the way to the medieval ages and made up a whole time period. Now everyone should be familiar with Revelation 13. It's talking right here about the beast rising out the ocean, which the Geneva 1560 says, here's a depiction of the Roman Empire, which standeth in cruelty and tyranny. Further, it says the 7 heads and the 10 horns, meaning Rome because it's the 5th government, by 7 kings of emperors after Nero. What I want to show you right here is who it places at the scene. Now this is not about Nero, but just to set the scene. When I talk about the deadly head wound in Revelation 13, it says, this may be understood as Nero, who was the first to move persecution against the church, and then he slew himself with a sword to the head. Of course, backed by history, whether they say it's a throat or a head wound. Now right here we have a massive clue. So the family of Caesars ended in Nero, but then it says that the empire was reestablished then by Vespasian. Okay, so we are totally talking about the 1st century, specifically the year 70 to 80, maybe even 85 AD. This is where it gets crazy. Take a look at who it places at the scene. It's talking about the beast rising out the earth with 2 horns of the lamb, speaks as a dragon. Mainstream calls him the false prophet. Let's see what the footnote says. This is the Pope's kingdom. It leads to perdition. And all these signifying features signify the priesthood of the kingdom. In his arms, 2 keys, and it has 2 swords carried before him. So Boniface the VIII, which first ordained the Jubilee year, whereas the parallel is one day the Pope and the next the Emperor. This is where it takes a wild turn. Pope Boniface VIII. It says he lived in 1300, but we are clearly seeing things that happened in the 1st century, says the writers of the Geneva Bible. Is it possible he never lived in the 1300s? It did not even exist, but he was actually in the 1st century? Yeah. And of course, he was the Pope, in fact, that did ordain the first Jubilee year in 1300. But let's just prove it even further. Now we're in Daniel chapter 7, where he's talking about his visions of the 4th beast and the 10 horns and the kingdom's 10 kings that shall arise. Remember, this is the 1560 Geneva Bible, which I believe is actually just 560 or around 600 AD, because a whole 1,000 years were added. Or should I say, changed. We've seen all the buildings with the 1 added before the 3-digit number. These were the emperors, and they had power to change God's laws and man's laws. Which emperors were they? Tiberius, Caligula, Nero, Domitius. It says 81 to 96, directly after, and the son of Vespasian. Meaning, indeed, Pope Boniface VIII was under Vespasian, who was the son of Domitius. And then, here's the concrete. It says, God by his power shall restore the things that are out of order and dethrone this beast should be destroyed. It even mentions Matthew 24 verse 22. Now before I give you the bonus, I'm actually doing a crazy data dump video for subs and also members on the Red platform. But last year we actually did a video on this on the Red platform. Now the bonus. After Nero was said to have the deadly head wound, it was said that he came back. Nero Redivivus was a legend that he came back at this end of time or end of this period while all this stuff was happening. Does that remind you of anything? He also had structures and statues built of him, and he was also on the money transforming into Apollo the god. And also, let me add that the 1560 Geneva Bible was outlawed by King James. Rabbit hole's deeper than you've been told.
Oh.
Do you think the moon's real?
Absolutely not. It was the Dogon tribe in Africa talks about the time before the moon. So literally there was a time before the moon, which means what? Which means the moon was implanted there. It was not made by quote unquote the original OG God. It was implanted there, and like literally there's a whole science about how it connects to Saturn and how it's literally like an energy suck station, how it's influencing the water and the magnetism of the reproductive cycle, the hormonal cycle of we're water, we're 70-something% water. If it affects the ocean, is it affecting us? Absolutely. And what's inside the earth, right? So there's a whole kind of
Saturn, huh?
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that Saturn is like Satan or something. It's like also the word, I don't know, I've heard like that. And when you listen to Saturn, I don't know if you've ever heard of the sort of the tone that comes from each planet, but when you get to Saturn, it sounds like hell.
Yeah, I've heard of the tones that the planets emit. I haven't particularly sat and listened to Saturn, but yeah, I'm not scared. Like, maybe I'll listen to it. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. Like the Saturn is communicating with the moon, and there's like a connection there, and it's pulling energy. And there was a time before the moon, which means it was planted there.
Okay, guys, this one really gets me. What do we think on this one? What do we really think on this one? I mean, we've heard all things about the moon. We've heard all kinds of things about the moon. What do I believe? I'm not sure, but it's still magical. I still love it when it's full, when it's half full. Of course, it's got effects on us. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I guess I never thought about that. But, okay. On to the next headline.
Even the animals can feel it. It's known as electroculture, where a copper antenna is placed into the soil. A simple technique that doubled crop yields. Electroculture is revolutionizing farming. Learn how to grow in abundance. Comment copper to learn more.
The tree's roots go down 8-10 feet and spread out, so they're not affected by the snow and by the cold. Don't worry about it, that it's wintertime. You don't need leaves on the tree for it to be effective. The tree is alive. It's just cold, but the leaves have to fall. It's part of nature. But you touching the tree is all that's required for you to get the energy, and you get billions of negative ions by you just touching it. You won't feel it. unless you're energy sensitive. But billions of negative ions are going into your body, and your body will thank you for it, because we have way too many positive ions and not enough negative ions. By just touching a tree for a minute or two, for as long as you can, hug the tree if you like, but be sure to touch it with your bare hands, and you'll get an infusion of billions of negative ions that will be good for your body.
Thanks again for joining us, folks. Thank you so much. First episode of many. Thank you again. Leave your comments, share. You know what to do. Anyhow, if you want to hear about anything specific, let me know. And remember, they are out there. They do live. And consider the great possibility that we could be pets. Signing off.